this is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
Well, what's up, everybody? It's time to enjoy another afternoon on the afternoon show here on ESEN with my boy, Tony Gonzalez. Hopefully, Gonzo, when he gets his computer straightened out, will be with us here shortly. And until then, I have carte blanche given to me by his father to talk as much crap and or shit as I want to, and without him dealing with it. But let me ask you, Tony, and I've been asking myself this question here the last, 2 or 3 weeks of college football. Will the real Archie please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up. Will the real Archie Manning please stand up? That's what I feel like when I see Archie Manning, because you got the hype Archie, and then you got the Archie that's been on the field the last couple of weeks. And I'm just waiting for the real Archie Manning to come to town.
Well, that's what Texas got to hope for, that hopefully he can get straightened out over the next couple of weeks before he starts playing that tough schedule. He's not looked great. I mean, at all. Well, actually, he's looked like. I don't know if it's his fault, Jay. Everybody hyped him up so much, and he didn't look any worse or any better than that quarterback that played for Ohio State. But of course, that guy from Ohio State's last name ain't Manning. And how hard. But my thing is, how hard is it to live up to people that in your family or people you're associated with? They all expect you. Hey, for example, professional wrestler Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. His son was supposed to be a 5-tool wrestler, blue chipper. No way he could ever fail. Never done anything. I mean, he had ability, but he never could connect to the fans. Then he got hurt and never done anything. So you just never know. Hopefully it works out for Manning. Hopefully that even if it ain't this year, maybe next year. I think he'll be okay. I just think it's going to be a slower process than what everybody wanted. Everybody. Technically, I'm going to look at it as an IU fan. If I had Archie Manning on my team, what I would expect, maybe like you did as a Texas fan, I would expect Archie Manning's first game against Ohio State at least to have two or three touchdowns, at least, even against Ohio State. Now, that probably wasn't fair because Ohio State's one of the best defenses in college football, just like Texas is one of the better defenses. So, maybe that wasn't fair. Now, when you start seeing him play other teams that don't have near that type of team and he's struggling, then you do get worried. And I understand that.
So that's what that latter part of it is really the part that frustrates me, because when he was playing last year with Quinn Ewers, when Quinn Ewers went down for that 4-week stretch and Archie took the starting reins for that 4-week period, he played Mississippi State and he played a few other, unranked teams. I can't remember who they are. That's how insignificant these teams really were. But he was out there confident, moving the ball, looking like a Manning, playing like a Manning, acting like a Manning, doing all those kinds of great things. No issues. Had complete confidence in this guy. And then this year rolls around, and, obviously he struggled against Ohio, which I'll give him the Ohio game because of the magnitude, where it was played, who they're playing, the fact that Ryan Day is a defensive specialist, and all these kinds of things. I give him that Ohio game. But when you go up against UTEP and all these other schools that are very insignificant, and you're still playing at a very low level, and I think you threw like 114 yards against an unranked team, that tells me, Houston, we got a problem. Because those are the games that he should be blowing out. Those are the games he should be regaining his confidence. And the fact that he's not, and the fact that he's struggling worse than what he even did against Ohio, to be honest with you, that's a big problem for me. And I don't understand, because look, one thing I will tell you, coming from that Manning family, you may not have all the athleticisms of a Peyton or whatever, but you know what? One thing about that family is they are very high in the football IQ department. They all know how to read defenses. They all know how to prepare for games. They all know how to do all the right things. And you cannot tell me for 1 minute that Peyton and Eli and Cooper and Granddaddy Arch aren't in his ear teaching him since he was probably a kid on how to do all those fundamental things of like reading defenses and things like that. And when I watch him go out there and play, it's like he goes out there like a scared kid, or he looks like a scared kid. There's no swag, there's no confidence, there's no nothing. He's not reading defenses, he's not making audibles, he's not doing any of the things that we typically expect from a Manning. And that's what blows me away. Because if nothing else, his football IQ should be on point. Come out of that family. But so I don't know. We'll see. Until then, I'm still waiting for the real Archie man.
Well, one big difference from last year to this year, Jay. Last year he wasn't the starting quarterback. It's easy to be the backup. It's easy to be the backup, but there's no pressure on you, no expectations. Now he comes into this season. He's got. How could the expectations be any higher? Texas is thinking we got Manning. We're going to win a championship. You know, whether that's fair or not, that's what they're thinking. And so I think he's having a hard time handling the pressure, and hopefully he can get that under wraps. And it don't make no difference if Peyton, Granddad, or anybody else. It's in your mind. They can't be in your mind. So he's got to figure out how to handle. He's got to figure out how to handle pressure. And nobody handles pressure. Each person handles it different. Eli didn't handle it like Archie did, or like his dad did, or like Peyton did. So everybody's different. So it's just going to take time. I think he'll be fine. I think they just gotta relax. I think he needs to open up the playbook for him, because I think they ran the football 55 times, like we said that last game. So that limited his. And that may be for a reason. Maybe they know he's struggling, and that's why they did it. But I think Chris said this the other day. I think he's got to open up and let him go. If he messes up, he messes up. But he's not going to get any better doing what they're doing. That's just my opinion.
I 100% agree with that, and I agree with him. I remember when Gonzo said that. I agreed with him, and then too, I felt like Sarkisian. Where is his part in the play calling and getting him ready for these types of moments and things. So, yeah, I totally agree with you. Gonzo, we were just killing time while we were waiting for you to get your computer figured out. Now that you got your computer figured out, it's good to see you. What do you got there on your hat? Does that say MS?
Yes, it does. It's actually the high school I went to, Muncie Southside.
Oh, that's what's up.
That school I went to also.
Yeah, it's a middle school now, but I had my Southside wrestling shirt on today, so I figured I'd wear my Southside hat.
Yeah, good. God forbid from the North Side. Y'all ever have rivals with the North Side?
Well, they were called Central. Well, I guess back in the day, there was a South Side and a North Side, and then it turned into Central.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, it's good to see you wearing something else other than that crappy Reds gear you were wearing.
Chris, is that signaling something about the? Oh, there you got it. Well, hey, since we're talking some Reds, let's get into baseball. Last night, guys, we had the Mets all over San Diego, 8-3. Unfortunately for me and Chris, Toronto defeated Tampa Bay 6-5. The Yankees got up a big lead on the Minnesota. Minnesota came back. The Yankees held on 10-9. Seattle all over Kansas City 12-5. Cardinals handled Cincinnati 3-0. Astros 6-5 win over Texas, big win for the Astros. Arizona 6-5 over the Giants, and Philadelphia 9-6 over the Dodgers. And that was crazy because I'm having a brain fart, guys. The good hitter, Ohtani had a no hitter for 5 innings. They take him out, and their team proceeds to give up. Their bullpen gives up 9 runs, and our friend Jonathan Mavis had a meltdown last night. So that was very amusing. I did like that. So right now, guys, in the division, the Astros are half game back. The other real big race is Arizona's a game and a half out of the wild card. So, guys, Chris, I'll let you go first about the Reds, and then I'll let Jay talk about the Astros, and then we'll move on to other stuff. Chris?
Yeah, Reds just couldn't hit the ball last night. Well, I shouldn't say we couldn't hit the ball. We hit the ball, but it was just basically ground balls or fly balls right at somebody. We couldn't find no gaps. And then, the first 6 innings of the game, and then the last 3 innings of the game, we couldn't hit the ball at all. I think it was like 7 or 8 straight strikeouts there the last 3 innings. But before that, we were hitting the ball, but that pitcher was getting a lot of ground balls. The pitcher had a real good start. We just couldn't create no runs and couldn't get nothing going. we get runners on. It was the same thing. You get a base runner on, and then couldn't advance them.
Yeah,
And
Fred's,
then,
I believe, now 3 back.
yeah. Need to win tonight and win this series, and then get ready for the next series.
I got the Cubs next. Okay, Jay, what are you thinking about the Astros? A big win for them last night.
Yeah. Real quick before I go, I just want to just tail in on that one real quick before I go to the Astros. Yeah, Gonzo. I mean, I give you crap about your uniform. I was just teasing with you really about that. I really have been rooting for you on the National League side to get up into that wild card. But, man, y'all are not doing yourselves any favors, man.
No.
And I don't know what's going on with the Mets. Now they figured we can learn how to win now. They've stepped off 2 games in a row now against the Padres. I guess they must have been feeling the heat from all of you guys knocking on the doorstep, because now I guess they decided they want to win games. That's crazy to me, man. But it is what it is. Houston actually wound up getting
Houston almost messed around and blew that game last night.
Oh, I know. Trust me.
I turned it over. Houston had a big lead, and I turned it back over, and I'm like, oh, shit.
I call that the bullpen effect. In all honesty, really, yesterday really was kind of a bullpen game for us. Blue Ball, I love Blue Ball. I really felt like they should have gave him a lot more time playing than what they did. I think they shut him down like after 50 pitches, but the guy gave up nothing. I don't know. I didn't get to watch this game because it was blacked out where I'm at, and now that the streaming services that I typically use are in, I guess they're not streaming now for whatever reason. I was able to watch the game, so I don't know what actually happened with Blue Ball. But if you watch that game, or Blue Ball did well, and then they went, but he only pitched 3 or 4 innings, and then after that, it was just straight bullpen. So, yeah, well, that's I will tell you, Chris and Gonzo. The only thing that Chris and Gonzo, I'm calling the same person. Tony and Gonzo. The problem is you got too many damn names. I can't keep them straight in my head. But it's not your fault, Gonzo, because you clearly put Gonzo as your moniker there. But that's besides the point. No, I just feel like the Astros. That's their weakness, is the bullpen. Really, I mean, it was our hitting, but our hitting has actually come on. If you look at us lately, we've been put up 11 runs, 6. I mean, we've been great offensively, and and I really do credit Zach Cole for that insurgence of it. That guy's just been killer since he's come into the league. But our bullpen is rough, man. That's why I'm glad we took the game yesterday, because that really was more of a bullpen game than anything else. But yeah, our bullpen is rough. We got one more game against Texas. Hopefully we can wrap that up, because then we get Seattle literally right after that. I think Seattle starts tomorrow. Actually. So we literally have back-to-back divisional series. So we really need to take this one against Texas just to kind of keep us in the race, because Guardians won yesterday over Detroit. I don't know what Kansas City did, but I know Guardians won, so they're keeping pace.
Seattle beat Kansas City.
Seattle beat Kansas City. Okay, so that tells you right there. But yeah, right now for the Astros, we're doing okay. Obviously, Yordan Alvarez. I told you about that earlier. He has a left sprain. They said it's a significant sprain. I guess it wasn't significant enough for them to put him on the IL. I feel like if it was a season ender, they would have had him on the IL. But the fact that they're actually going to wait and see what it is, that tells me that is, hopefully maybe there's still some hope there that he can at the very least. Tony, I know you talked about that. Even you brought it up, Tony. Was that we'll just save him for the playoffs and bring him in at the playoffs. And in worst case scenario, we just put him at the DH, and then that's fine. We'll play him at the DH and we'll roll on. So more to follow on Alvarez. That could be a big blow, though, if he's not able to make it back by playoffs. That could be a big blow for Houston as they try to compete as we go deeper into the playoffs.
Yep.
But that's kind of where we are currently.
All right, guys, let's move on from baseball. Just give a quick update on WNBA and here in Indiana. The Indiana Fever won last night. They're going to force a Game 3 and winner take all, move on to the next round against the Atlanta Dream. Chris, did you get to see that, or did you see any highlights of that?
No, I didn't see anything of it. I was watching the Reds get beat last night, and then
I followed it and seen the highlights. They won 77-60. played really, really good defense. That's what they're going to have to rely on. They're going to have to play good defense if they want a chance to beat Atlanta this next game at Atlanta. This game was at home. They lost the first game in Atlanta. So they play Thursday night for a chance to move on to the next round. So we'll see how that goes. Jay, any thoughts on
Hey,
that?
real quick, is Caitlin, is she still
No.
out,
She's
right?
out. She's out for the season.
Okay.
They've got like 3 players out for the season. So they've got a lot of people that they've signed that wasn't on this roster, when the season started. Some of them weren't even on the roster midway through the season. So, but they still got some good. They still got some couple good players, couple good scores. So a lot of people are contributing. And like I said, the big key last night, man, their defense was stifling. I mean, the most points that the other team, the Dream, scored in the quarter was 16 points, and they held them to 60. So that tells you. And I think the home crowd helped a lot. They're not going to have that Thursday night. So we'll see if that was the first playoff win from Indiana since, was that 15? I think since 2015.
So this is so it's only best of 3, you said, correct?
Yes.
So tonight is your make or break.
Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's make or break.
That's a Thursday night game. Okay.
Yep, that's make or break. So, guys, next up, I've got some NFL top players, and you guys can comment on these as I go, or however you want to do it. And then any thoughts that you have on the week two. I know also Jay wanted to mention about Fields being out. We'll talk about that here in a minute. One of the big ones for me was Dallas's Brandon Aubrey, the kicker, who came through with a 64-yard field goal to tie the game, and then also kicked a game-winning field goal for Dallas. He's a big one. Another one was Jonathan Taylor for the Colts, 165 yards rushing, a TD. Bijan Robinson, 143 yards rushing for Atlanta. We had Giants Malik Neighbors, big game, 9 catches, 167 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the Giants. There's a few Giants on this list, even though they lost. Russell Wilson, another Giant, 450 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. Dak Prescott, 360 yards passing for Dallas. Buffalo, my man James Cook, he's on one of my fantasy football teams, 132 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, 14 catches, 165 yards, and a touchdown for Cincinnati. Roquan Smith, defensive for Baltimore, 15 tackles, 8 solo tackles, and a TD, defensive TD. And then my other defensive player was Paulson Adebo of the Giants, 13 tackles, 11 of them solo. Guys, anybody on this list stood out to you that you want to talk about, or anybody else maybe that you have in mind from week 2?
Definitely for me, that James Cook, 2 touchdowns and what he rushed for out of Buffalo, because that really is, that's a big part of that offense is what James does. It really sets up Josh Allen. And why that's such a big thing is if Buffalo's ever going to get over that hump and get into, deeper into that playoffs, if not a Super Bowl run, is going to be on the reliability of James Cook to be able to run the ball and run it effectively. And also, obviously, that offensive line is giving him holes. So I thought James Cook, now that he looks like he's rounding back into, on his second game, he's doing well. 2 touchdowns, that's huge for Buffalo.
Yeah, I agree. A few stood out to me. One I'm sure was Malik Neighbors, 9 catches, 167 yards, 2 TDs. For the Giants, outstanding game for him. Russell Wilson, and guys, do you think one of the reasons Wilson may have had this game? I know the Cowboys defense didn't play great, but 450 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Do you think maybe he knows, hey, I better do this, or I'm gonna be on the bench? And because that, especially after his first game, he didn't play well. Chris, what do you think about Russell Wilson? And anybody else on this? I assume you heard what I said, the names I give out, or is there anybody else that you want to talk about that maybe I didn't mention?
Yeah, Russell Wilson played a lot better week 2, but I still don't think Wilson's going to make it the whole season as a Giants quarterback. I think they'll move to Jackson Dart. He might have bought himself another week or 2. I think if he had played bad again, it would have been even sooner. But I think by probably week 8 or 9. I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants don't make a quarterback. move. Egbuka for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is a guy that's really stood out over this week and last week. I think over the first two games, he's a rookie, already has 3 touchdowns. I really like him. He's never been the guy that he's probably was just as good as a lot of the guys on the Ohio State team as a receiver, but he was kind of always the second or third guy. He was never the guy that got the praise or got the attention in the media or anything. It was always last year was about Jeremiah Smith. Before that, it was about Marvin Harrison Jr. He never really got the shine, and he was great at Ohio State. And then look what he's doing in the league. The league now, first 2 games as a rookie. So I just like how he keeps his head down, and the dude just he didn't care about, he wasn't really getting the credit that he probably deserved, and he just keeps going out there and doing it. Jonathan, like you said, Jonathan Taylor had a big, real big game. Cameron Bynum for the Colts, cornerback, has 2 interceptions. He's had like 7 or 8 tackles, assisted on like 3 or 4 tackles. He's been a real good pickup in the cornerback. Plus, he has some of the best celebrations that you're going to see.
He adds a lot to that team. I mean, great plays, but just energy, leadership and energy. I can tell a difference in this team, and also watching some of the highlights with Jones being there, Daniel Jones being there now, and he had another great week too. That's somebody that's probably been on the list.
I was getting ready to mention Jones. I had him on my list.
But a real good offensive lineman for the Colts, Chris. Quentin Nelson is fired up about this team right now, and they had him mic'd up and him celebrating, him yelling, him screaming. I don't think Jones is a leader. I think he may be a leader, not vocally. Let's put it that way. He may be a leader in just his play and stuff like that, and his work and stuff like that. Follow an example. I don't think he's a big time boy. He don't seem like that to me. I could be wrong. I'm not like I'm in the locker room or anything. But Nelson is definitely a leader, and it does seem like Bynum. And then the other guy too, Franklin. Franklin's been going crazy also. The Colts defense on the sideline, teams on the sideline seems completely different than what it did the last couple of years. But winning does that. Now, if they lose a game, that may change. If they go to Tennessee and shit the bed this week, that may all change. Who knows? But definitely moving in the right direction, and Jones is a big part of that. No doubt about it.
I had Daniel Jones on there because, if you look what he done just against the blitz, Denver blitzed them 70-something% of the time, and he had a QB rating of 120 against it, and threw for 200-something yards against the blitz. So, he's seeing the field good right now. Hopefully that keeps up. Justin Herbert for the Chargers as well. He looks like he's on a totally different level this year than from what he was last year through the first 2 games. He had another real good game. And then Keenan Allen has been big this season, kind of bouncing back. Didn't hear a lot from him in Chicago last year. He seems in a good spot. He's healthy. And he's back at home and with the Chargers. And he already has a couple touchdowns and has had two big games. So.
Couple things. Just give it 2 weeks, Chris. Just give it 2 weeks. That man, he primed for an injury. Come on, give it 2. Chris, give it 2 weeks. What's the over under on that, Chris?
Yeah,
that's my first. Hey, but seriously,
right.
you know who? I didn't think about that. You know who is quietly impressing me is Tucker Kraft, the tight end from Green Bay. Jesus, man,
he's a beast right now.
Where'd this guy come from? I wasn't even targeted when it came time to draft a tight end. He wasn't even on my radar. But this cat threw up against Washington 124 yards and a touchdown, and he had 89 yards and a touchdown. He's really been consistently putting up some good numbers, especially if you're a fantasy guy. He's been putting up some solid fantasy numbers. He's right up there right now, with the big tight ends. I put Kraft right there with him right now in terms of tight end play. I know we're only 3 games in, so I don't want to go too crazy. We're 2 games or 3 games? 2 games. We're 2 games in, but he's off to a hell of a good start if he continues.
Yeah, he is. And another one that I didn't mention, Tyler Warren, tied in for the Colts. He's got off to a hell of a start for his rookie year through the first 2 games.
Yeah, he's got what, 11, 12 catches?
Yeah.
Something like that. Well, I know the leading tight end last year, I think, had like 14 catches. The leading tight end last year. He's almost got that already in 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, another thing that impressed me, and not just because he's on my fantasy team, because he didn't impress me week 1, was Kenny Walker III, the running back out of Seattle. You know, when he started this season, you know, he already kind of started off coming off of a foot injury. So week 1, I kind of gave him week 1 because I think he was still maybe been dealing with some lingering issues from that foot. But when you look at him in week 2, you know, he put up 105 yards on the ground on 13 carries. That's 8.1 yards a carry. And it's not like Washington, you know, is a cupcake defense. I mean, they have a fairly good defense over there. And in fact, for him to be able to do that, and I think that doesn't count, you know, he also has quite a bit of yardage receiving as well. But, I mean, he's literally got Charbonnet literally on his heels, just begging to get that number 1 spot. So, you know, I fully and I think that's good for Kenny because I think it keeps Kenny on his toes knowing he has to go out there and perform week in or week out, or they have no problem going to Charbonnet if he shows any sign of lackluster.
Yes, Charbonnet could start for a lot of teams. So, yeah, I agree with you.
He can start for the Cowboys. Well, I can't say because, man, Williams is playing so good for us right now.
I tell you, Williams is good if they use him right. He can't run the ball 25 times a game, but he's a guy who can catch the ball, and he's a pretty good runner. I watched him play for Denver. I had him on my fantasy team a couple years ago, and he did real well for me. Williams was a good pickup. One that stood out to me, guys, and I know maybe he shouldn't because this is what he should be doing because he's the highest paid receiver in football, or right at it, Jamar Chase. 14 catches, 165 yards, and a TD. But one reason it stood out to me is because most of that was with a backup quarterback. So does that give you any hope seeing those numbers? Can that backup quarterback do enough for the Bengals to help them make the playoffs? I mean, they're 2-0 right now. That's the best start they've had in a while. Because usually right now they're 0-2. I think last year they started off 0-3. Can the coach come up with a game plan? For one thing, they're going to have to run the football better. They've got to start. I mean, they've got a good running back there with Brown. They've got to run the football better. But do you guys think that the Bengals can get going and still have a shot to make the playoffs with Brown at quarterback? I mean, he threw for a lot of yards, and you see what Chase did with him. So they got a connection. So, Chris, what do you think?
I think they can maybe sneak into a wild card. But I don't think they're going to be able to win the division. Browning the year before played quite a bit when Burrow had hurt his wrist, and won some games. Like he played pretty good. One reason I don't think they can win the division is their defense isn't good enough, and then plus you have Baltimore in there. But getting off to the 2-0 start, and if I think they could maybe win enough games because you never know. They're saying 3 months with Burrow, so I mean, if you can stay in the hunt, stay within striking distance, you can get Burrow back maybe in December and have him for the stretch run. So, I mean, I think there's a chance. I'm not counting on it, but Browning's one of the better backup quarterbacks in the league right now. He's not bad. So. I just don't think they have enough on the defensive side to be able to, without having Burrow.
And the defense definitely going to have to step up. Jay, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm right there with Chris. I think Browning is a serviceable, good backup. I don't think he's going to be the guy that's going to get you to the Super Bowl, but he certainly can carry the load. But another part of that is, like Chris said, it's that defense. I mean, you give it 27 points to the Jaguars. I mean. So, that defense is a big-time issue for them. Browning, being a backup, a serviceable backup, can he get them all the way? That's another issue. And what I mean by that is he's played the Jaguars. It's the Jaguars. Let's see when he goes up against, a better defense, and see what happens, like a Philly or, any one of those defenses out there that are out there. I want to see what he can do against Buffalo Bills. What can he do against the Ravens? and see what kind of performance he does against, the above 500 teams before I can actually tell you, yeah, I think Browning can go this far or this far. I need to see it's great, we're playing sub 500, but I want to see what he does against above 500 before I weigh in totally on Browning by himself. But I will tell you this: if you're without Burrow, Browning is a good option. That's probably the best option, right?
Yep. Jay, you brought up in the pre-meeting about the Jets and Fields. Looks like Fields is going to be out for a while. Concussion protocol, so it's hard to say how long he'll be out. And it looks like Tyrod Taylor is going to be the starting quarterback. Your thoughts on that, Jay?
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor. Man, it seems like that guy's been in the league forever. I don't even know when he came in, Chris, but it seems like I've heard that name it seems like over a decade. I've heard that name. What do I think Tyrod Taylor's going to do for the Jets? Absolutely nothing. I think for the next 2 weeks, I don't even expect them to get a win. I'm not even looking at the schedule. Who do they play next week?
I can tell you.
If not, I can pull that up real quick.
Jets play. I've got it here somewhere. Let's see. The
Buccaneers.
Jets, yep, Tampa Bay at Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and that means the Buccaneers are going to most likely they're going to be without Baker. I don't think Baker is. I don't think he's going to play, right?
I haven't heard anything. I don't even know if he's on the injury. I mean, he finished that game, and I don't know. I haven't heard anything.
Because the last thing I heard last thing I heard about that was they said his knee was significantly swollen after that game was done.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything.
I don't know. If Baker plays, then I'm going to give the edge to them. I think I give the edge to them to no matter what. I just don't. Without having Fields there, I just don't believe in this Jets team. I think Bucs are going to take that no matter what happens. But since he's on a concussion, that means he'll be out 2 to 3 weeks, depending on however long it takes him to come out of that protocol. Usually it's 2 weeks. So they're going to have to go 2 games with Tyrod. But at the end of the day, it's the Jets. We're not expecting.
It says Baker Mayfield may miss some practice this week, but is expected to play on Sunday.
Okay. So, yeah, that just tells you right there. What do I expect from the Jets? I expect 2 losses, and then they'll bring Justin Fields back. But, yeah, I'm just not a big believer in this Jets team, to be honest with you. Not the way it's constructed right now.
Chris, your thoughts on Tyrod Taylor and Fields being out?
I think the Jets are going to be about the same as they was. I don't think Tyrod Taylor is a big downgrade from Justin Fields. Tyrod Taylor, when he's had a chance to play, he's played decent at most places he's been at. He was at Buffalo, got them, if I remember right, got them to the playoffs. Then he was with the Chargers and didn't play too bad there where he was with Cleveland for a while, and they moved him when Baker was with the Chargers, and then the Chargers collapsed his lung, and so they could get Herbert in there, and then he's been a backup. But no, I don't think it's a big drop off in quarterback wise. Fields is is a better runner, but other than that, seeing the field and being able to throw the ball, I don't think it's a big drop off. But to me, the Jets are the Jets. They still have. I think Aaron Glenn's moved them in the right direction, but it's going to take some time.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I do expect. I expect a lot of running out of Breece Hall and whoever's the other backs on the Jets team. I see a whole lot of rushing.
Okay, guys. Anything else stood out to you in week 2? I've got a couple of things I was going to talk about, but see if you guys got anything first.
I don't. Unless somebody else does. Gonzo, you got anything?
No.
Okay. The first one I had is Mac Jones. Played pretty well for San Francisco. 26 of 39, 279 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Mac Jones. So my question is, can he play well enough and keep San Francisco going? They're 2-0. Can he keep them going and keep them in contention for the playoffs until Purdy gets back? Chris, what do you think?
I think he can. Sounds like Purdy was only going to miss 2 to 3 weeks. I think is what I'd heard at the last I'd heard. So they made it through this week with them, and we've seen Shanahan with other quarterbacks. He usually can plug in a quarterback and and do decent for at least for a few games. But Jones isn't your normal backup either. You got to remember Jones was a top 6-7 pick in the draft. It was a Pro Bowler his rookie year. Like had a real good rookie season. Then some weird things happened there in New England, and he kind of fell off. And I think for him, this is a big opportunity for him because if he does keep playing like he did that last week, he might be able to land somewhere next season with maybe a chance to vie for a starting job.
Chris, let me ask you a question before Jay goes. So I think San Francisco is a perfect fit for him. Of course, they pay Purdy a lot of money. So if he wants to be a starter, is there a team that stands out to you that maybe could use a Mac Jones, and you think that he still could do well?
Let me think about it for a second. I think he could do good in Jacksonville if they decide to move on from Trevor Lawrence. I also think he'd be a great fit in Minnesota with the Vikings if it didn't work out with JJ McCarthy, because the Vikings is pretty much just a real similar system to what the 49ers run, and you have that Kevin O'Connell kind of the same thing, kind of like what Darnold did, because Darnold was there with San Francisco as a backup, left there, went to Minnesota, exploded, and then went on. But I think McCarthy's going to end up being fine for Minnesota. I know he struggled his second game, but I think Minnesota will get that figured out. But no, I think there's I'm trying to think what else. Huh?
McCarthy's hurt.
Yeah, McCarthy's hurt right now. Yeah.
Yeah, they just brought in Desmond Ritter.
I was gonna say if Purdy wasn't hurt and they could have tried to got Jones from New England from San Francisco instead of Ritter, that'd have been perfect for Minnesota.
I agree. Totally agree with that 100%. I'm not a big fan of Desmond Ritter. Didn't really like him in Atlanta. Probably don't even like him now still. Just not a big Desmond Ritter guy. But I'll tell you, where I'd like to see him go, where I think he'd fit in perfectly, is in New Orleans. Because they don't have a quarterback. And Kellen Moore, the young offensive coordinator, I think he's got a good mind. He's obviously an offensive type of guy, right? I think Mac Jones would slide in easily there because he'd have already a wide receiver one in Olave. He'd already have a good, running back in Kamara and company, right? And I just think he would do well in New Orleans.
Okay.
Another place is the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh yeah, in case Stafford goes down. Yeah.
Or if Stafford goes down this year, or for next year, because Stafford probably ain't gonna play too many more years, so they're gonna have to. They're going to be looking for a guy, and if Jones kept playing good, and you're going into again kind of that same kind of system with McVay.
Yeah,
because I don't think Stetson Bennett on that depth chart is going to move up anytime soon. I don't think Stetson. I mean, great college quarterback at Alabama, but I don't know if he necessarily translates to a starting quarterback in the NFL.
I mean, the Cowboys could pick him up in case Prescott goes down.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that one bit. Honestly, a lot of people like Milton. I am not a Milton guy. I'm not really sold on Milton. So I would be okay if Mike Jones wanted to come there. Hell yeah.
Do you guys think New England gave up on him too quick?
On Mac, yeah. Well, you know what hurt Mac Gonzo. I'm pretty sure you agree with this. Is he did well under Josh McDaniels. I mean, Josh McDaniels was a great coordinator. Obviously, because the guy went to the playoffs year one. They didn't go far, but he got to the playoffs at least. And then when they let go, or when Josh McDaniels took that head coaching job with the Raiders, they brought in that defensive guy and that special team guy. Gonzo, I think we talked about this yesterday. What do you expect from a quarterback who doesn't have a quarterback-minded offensive coordinator? I mean, that blows. I never understood what Bill Belichick was thinking with that. So I think that the New England kind of hurt Mac Jones in that sense. And so this is just time to be resurrected.
What do you think, Chris? You think they gave up on him too quick?
Yeah, I think they gave up on him a little quick, but I think one of the reasons they did was because he started kind of talking back to Belichick and some of them, letting them know like this is what we're doing here is bullshit, and that's why they end up moving on from. But yeah, I think they moved on a little too quick. I mean, what they do? Didn't they go bring in like Cam Newton or some or some shit?
The other thing I had, and this is kind of what I believe, Tua from Miami. Guys, I think he's got talent. I think injuries have hurt with the head and stuff. But I think Tua's problem, and this is my opinion, see what you guys think, I think it's the coach.
Yeah.
I think the big problem in Miami is the coach. And I think it's time to move on from him, and sooner the better. I think he's lost the team. I think he's lost his quarterback. Right or wrong, I think it's happened. So, Chris, what do you think the issue is there with Tua and Miami and the coach and everything?
I think it's both of them. I think the coach has lost some of the locker room, but I also think Tua has a part of that as well. I think Tua is soft. I don't think he can handle being coach, and I think that's one reason the culture is so lax there. Look. Okay, we're going to run McDaniel off, which I figured he's going to be gone, but we're going to run him off because Tua is not playing good enough. Well, that was the same reason they got rid of Brian Flores, because Brian Flores was a defensive coach and he couldn't develop Tua. So he was too mean. Flores was too mean to Tua, so we had to get rid of Flores. Now you got a guy that's not mean enough. That lets all the players run over him. Yeah. So to me, it's just as much Tua's fault as it is anybody. Like if you look at Tua's numbers, they've gotten better with McDaniel than what they were before. But the culture in that building to me is all out of whack, and I think a lot of that has to do with Tua and the coaching staff and the building kind of placating to him to make sure he's happy. And then it's just running the culture for the rest of the building.
And you got Tyreek Hill.
If your quarterback can do whatever the hell he wants, that gives free reign to everybody else on the team to be able to do whatever the hell they want. I mean, what was one of the reasons everybody said New England was so great? Because Bill Belichick could coach Tom Brady just like any other player, and all them players knew, like, hey, if he's going to treat Tom Brady like that, hell, I'll be out of here. Like. And I don't think you have anything like that, near like that, going on in the Dolphins.
Jay, what do you think?
You know, I always said I never trust a man who wears skinny sweatpants that are hiked up to your calf. I don't know. I have a hard time taking.
Hey man, don't be talking the style. I've actually thought about changing that style. Get me some capris. Get doing my hair up. Get me some big glasses. We were talking about this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, then that's the reason why I don't go to Indiana very often. But no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Look, man, I'm just, the point I'm making is, if you look like you are so unprofessional, how am I going to take you seriously? I have a hard time taking McDaniel seriously. He looks like a kid. He looks like a kid who just graduated college and he's got some high-ass sweatpants rolled up. I have a hard time taking that seriously. And I think that's where the lack of discipline and the lack of toughness and all that stuff comes into play. You know, now I've seen.
I agree with you on some of that, Jay. But Tua was already soft before McDaniel ever got.
I agree. You interrupted, but then let me get there. That's okay. I'm sorry. What's good for the goose is damn sure good for the gander. Go ahead, Gander. Did you want to say something? I know you want to.
I was just going to say, I think that's one time I've done it compared to about 10,000 times.
I know. You see why it has more effect when I say it? No, hey, in all seriousness, though, I have seen flashes, and I know you've even seen flashes of brilliance come out of Tua, right? I mean, the guy has played good at times, but on the flip side of that, he's also gotten hurt a butt. Now, we say he's soft, but this is also a guy that has no problems not sliding and running into defenders. Now, great, he's got concussions from it, and I don't recommend him doing that. But I don't think he's soft mentally, but because I've seen him do things that most quarterbacks would just take a slide for, right? The problem with that, I don't know if it's Tua or not Tua, is he's been injured for so long and so much and so infrequently that I don't know what Tua really is under a good coach and without injury. You know what I'm saying? There's just too many unknowns in that damn. But with that situation, I do agree though that McDaniels is on the hot seat. I do think I think his time is done. I don't think that Tua will be successful or the Miami organization will be successful under McDaniels. I do not believe that.
All right, play Buffalo this week.
Let me ask you this. Who's the coach that's going to make Tua successful then? He wasn't successful with Brian Flores. He's not been successful with McDaniels. So when does some of it get put on Tua and not just the coach?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's why I'm saying I can't officially make the ruling on Tua until I see a full solid season of work from him to know, because you know what it's like when you get injured, you come back, and goddamn, I wonder how much is those concussions weighing on his brain and his thinking patterns. Because look, you can't get knocked out that many times. How many concussions has Tua had now? 4, 5?
Something like that. At least 3.
I'm just saying how much of those concussions impacted the brain.
I think there is a coach out there that could get him to play well, and it's the only one I can really think of, and he's never going to be there, and that's the coach of Philadelphia.
Oh, Sirianni, yeah.
I think.
I don't know. I think Pete Carroll. I think if he played under Pete Carroll, I think he could be successful because Pete can also develop guys as well.
I think it's the system would fit well in Philadelphia for him. I don't think Pete Carroll's system would fit well with him. I really don't. I think that system that they have, because you don't have to be a great passer. It's more on running, and he can, if he gets the ball out of his hand quick, which is Sirianni likes. He can make pretty good on completions. When he gets it out quick, he's good. But when he has to hold it for more than 3 seconds is when he falls apart. So I think that would be the only fit, but I can't see him ever being there.
I agree with that 100%. I can get on board with that.
What do you think, Chris? Is there any other coach out there?
I don't know, because to me, I think Tua is kind of a little bit mentally weak and can't really be coached. I think that's the biggest problem. And if you don't have a quarterback that can be coached, then it makes it harder to coach the rest of your team as well. So I like I said, if you look at his numbers, when he's healthy, he puts up good numbers with McDaniel, but they ain't been able to equate that to consistent winning or consistently do that. Some of it can be injuries, and then some of it, I think, is the culture. Just it's too wide open, and everybody's just doing basically what they want and don't have the discipline.
Well, I think this year, I think they've lost. He's lost the team, like you said. I think the coach was the team. They was not ready to play that first game against the Colts, and I'm not saying the Colts didn't play well, because the Colts played very well. I mean, New England struggled to beat Miami. They held on and they beat them, but they didn't handle them like the Colts did. But the Colts, I think right now, and I not try to piss off Frankie, I think the Colts right now are a better team than New England right now. That don't mean that they will be at the end of the year. I think they still will be at the end of the year, but a couple of years maybe not. New England's a young team and just rebuilding. Where the Colts are hoping that they're a playoff team. We'll see. But I think he's lost that team, and I think they. Would you be shocked if they get destroyed by Buffalo that he's fired Sunday? 0-3, and if they get murdered by Buffalo, do you think could you see that firing happen this early?
I'm not sure what the history of that Dolphins owner is on firing coaches in the season, but I would say probably just because it is against a division opponent. And if they look bad with all the noise that's been around them, it wouldn't surprise me if they decided to maybe make a move. But I mean, it's awful early in the season to go to an interim coach.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting to me is, we talk about he can't handle mean coaches, but he did play for Saban, for crying out loud. It's not like Saban was the nicest of people. I think he can survive with a strong coach. I mean, he won the national title with Saban. I mean, he can. I understand that's the college level versus the pro level. The downside to Alabama is, honestly, with the exception of Jalen Hurts, I haven't really seen a good starting quarterback product. Not that my backup, there's plenty of backup quarterbacks that come out of Alabama and been okay. I have yet to see, though, really a starting quarterback outside of him. And I guess you could say Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones is going to be okay. But those are probably the only two that I've seen that would make significantly good starting quarterbacks in the NFL. And I feel like Ohio is another one of those programs that just doesn't typically put out good quality products at the quarterback level. I mean, I will say probably C.J. Stroud is the one-off from that organization as well.
Yeah, I agree. Well, guys, you guys got anything else before we move on to the hot seat?
I'm good. I just wait for Gonzo.
Okay. First question, I think they're all NFL. I've got first question is, could Philly, the way their offense is looking right now, could they be in a little trouble? I mean, I know they're 2-0, but the offense does not look great for Philadelphia. Jay, what do you think? Could Philadelphia be in a little bit of trouble? As far as do they make the playoffs? Yeah, I don't think there's any way they don't make the playoffs. But you making it to the NFC Championship game, could Philadelphia be in trouble?
Yeah. So Philly's kind of taking a little bit of a step back these first 2 weeks anyway. I mean, it's just I try to keep myself in mindset that this is only 2 weeks. And I look at that first week as preseason week when they played the Cowboys because they really weren't playing their starters. So that really was their first preseason game, in my opinion. So you got to look at pretty much after that. I think Philly's going to be okay. I mean, they're still Philadelphia, right? They still have Quinyon Mitchell. They still got Cooper DeJean in that secondary that is still really good. The only weakness on Philly is on the opposite side with Jackson. I feel like teams that are watching tape are going to start really throwing the ball a lot towards Jackson and not so much towards the other two. So I think that's the only weakness I see on that defense is on the – I think he plays on the left side, if I'm not mistaken. He might be on the right, but I think he's on the left. In terms of Jalen Hurts and them getting going, yeah, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, we have not really heard a lot about them in terms of stats these first 2 games. But, it's still Philadelphia. That's a good, deep organization over there. I still feel like they have a damn good shot. The only thing that's preventing me and giving me hesitation is because Green Bay looks really good right now. I mean, with that Micah Parsons addition on that team, that defense is legit. The offense is really doing well. Like I said, the Kraft and that tight end spot, the way he's playing, Green Bay is playing very, very solid football right now. Barring injury, they're looking like one of the top teams. Obviously, Gonzo knows this. We got to talk about this quite a few times. The Rams look incredibly tough. So, and I think those are the 3 teams that really, in my mind, are sticking out in the NFC. So I still think Philadelphia can get to the Super Bowl, but it's going to be really, really difficult this year. As long as the Rams can avoid injury and Green Bay can avoid injury, they're going to have their work cut out trying to get to the Super Bowl. I still think that they're not in trouble or anything, but there's definitely some concern that they're going to need to, hey, we need to kick it up a little bit left and right, to really start getting into rhythm. But right now, I'm not worried. Concerned, but not worried.
Chris, what do you think?
Oh no, I'm not concerned. I think they'll be right there at the end of the year competing for it being the NFC Championship game and trying to get to the Super Bowl. Think back to last season, beginning of the year. All you heard about every week. Eagles need to fire Nick Sirianni. They're winning, but it don't look right. The offense don't look right. This don't look right. But they were still winning. But we should fire. They need to fire Sirianni because he's a fucking idiot. Don't know what he's doing. We got to fire him. And then what happened? Got toward the end of the season, their offense. He had everything running like a smooth machine. So I'm not going to get all worried because this year their offenses look a little rough, got off to a little bit of a slow start. Because we've seen them do it before, and they're still winning games. So yeah, I'm not worried. Yeah, now if it gets week 14, 15, the offense is still looking like this every week. Okay, then I understand, but it's week 2, so yeah, I'm not worried about the Eagles yet.
I got one add on to that too. While I'm not worried, 2 words: tush push. As long as the Eagles got that tush push, they're gonna be all right. By the way, do you guys? I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day, and I was wondering if y'all were wondering it. Why is everybody so quick to complain about the tush push? By the way, I still think that is a neutral zone infraction, but that's okay. The NFL is going to allow it. Let it ride. Why are other teams, rather than complain about the tush push, why don't you develop your own tush push?
Figure it out. Yeah. Well,
if they're going to let you do it, why are you not doing it?
I seen the play, and they were offsides, something terrible, and that's where the leagues got to see that film, and they got to start cracking down on that. If they go offsides, they need to call it. Now, the rule, I guess it was a few years back, you couldn't do the tush push and stuff because you wouldn't be allowed to push on players. But the officials decided, well, we really can't call about pushing on players because it's too hard. It's too difficult to say if a guy's pushing them or not. I don't understand how that's too hard to. But when they changed that rule,
watch this. Where's his left hand? His right hand. Left is on the left cheek. Right is on the right cheek, and pushing forward. It's clearly a push.
Yeah, that was it. But they're saying it was too difficult, so that's why they made it legal to push. So as soon as they made it legal to push, they're screwed. Now the offside stuff they need to call. But like you said, every team can do it. Every team can do it.
Yeah, don't complain about it. Just do what they're doing, and doing it is good.
Yeah. Back to the Philadelphia thing. I don't think they're in trouble, but one thing I wonder about, and I know they had all last season, and that was Barkley's first season there, and Barkley had an incredible year. Not too many people have had better years than what Barkley did last year. Do you think defenses coordinators are starting to figure out, hey, we're going to do everything I can to stop Barkley, and they got to beat us passing the ball. We're going to hold him to under 100 yards. He's going to only get 80 yards. We're not going to catch the ball either, and as best we can. And they're going to have to beat us passing the ball. Now, I'm not saying they didn't try that last year, but do you think maybe defenses are figuring them out a little bit? Chris, what do you think?
I don't think so. Just because, like I said, they got off to kind of a little bit of a slow start last year as well. I think it's more. It just nobody plays it in the preseason, so you see a lot of these offenses start off a little slow, and I think they'll get going.
Okay, Jay.
Yeah. Yeah. If you look at Saquon, he hasn't exactly. Maybe they are gearing on him a little bit because his numbers haven't exactly been the best. He had 22 attempts, 88 yards, which is an average of 4.0, which is not bad. 4.0 is not bad. Trust me, I mean, that's good. 1 touchdown, but by what he typically has done in the past, though, it has taken a little bit of a dip during the regular season. I think in Dallas he gave 18 attempts at 63.3 yards and a touch. So he improved on his from Dallas, but it's too early right now in the season to really make a whole lot of thing about anything. But I'm just saying he is getting off to a little bit slower start. Rushing wise than he has in previous seasons.
Okay.
But I don't think it's a worry or anything to be concerned about.
Yeah.
I do think I don't know who they picked up as his backup. He had Gainwell last year, but Gainwell's not with them anymore. And I thought Gainwell was a good change of pace that helped out Barkley. I don't know who they have running behind Barkley right now.
Well, they picked up, I'm not sure he's behind him, but they picked up Bisbee from
Tank Biggs. Yeah, that's right. I do remember that trade.
I don't know that I don't think he's number 2 though. I don't think he's number 2, so I'm not sure who the number 2 is. Okay, guys, my next question is Kansas City in trouble? 0-2. They've been in this situation before. Heck, they even won a Super Bowl starting out 0-2. But they got some injuries right now. Let's go to Jay first. Could Kansas City be in some trouble?
Oh, yeah, I do think they're in a little bit of trouble. I say that because their division is getting better. Every year, that division gets better. And Chris will tell you, he's a huge Chargers guy. And I'm not saying you're a fan of him. I'm just saying, but he obviously favors them in that division. So the Chargers are a huge team. Bo Nix and that Denver team is a big deal. So the competition is getting better. Hell, even the Raiders are showing market improvement over last year, And when you got Rashee Rice, who's not going to be there for another 2 or 3 games, something like that. And then you got Xavier Worthy. I don't even know if he's even coming back. Marquise Brown can't seem to do nothing. Juju can't seem to do nothing. Travis Kelce is still trying not to knock out his teammates. I mean, there's definitely some issues going on with that offense. The defense is still okay. They don't have a bad defense, right? But that offense, without having – even look at their running game. Pacheco and Hunt, they're not doing anything. I mean, they're not producing anything. I mean, they look very, very anemic, and that does not bode well for Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you can be the best quarterback in the world, but if your weapons aren't there, or if your weapons aren't performing, yeah, you're not going to go anywhere, even with the Patrick Mahomes. So yeah, if I was Kansas City right now, I would be a little worried about my team right now.
Chris, what do you think? Is Kansas City in trouble?
I'm not too worried about them yet because of their defense. That defense is going to keep them in close games, and Patrick Mahomes most of the time finds a way to win those close games. So I'm not too worried about it. We've seen the Chiefs get off to a little bit of a slow start over the last few years, and they seem to figure it out. They do got to figure out the run game. That's the big thing for me. I think they got to figure that out a little bit. But yeah, I'm not too worried about them yet, just because, like I said, because we've seen them get off to slow starts. And with that, as good as their defense is, they should be in a lot of close games. And you have one of the best quarterbacks in close games on your side. So
yeah, I agree with you guys on the running game, but I think the big problem there, and it's for the running game and also protecting the quarterback, is the offensive line. I think the offensive line's got to play better if they want to do anything. I think if the offensive line gets fixed and they get a couple guys back, I think they'll be fine. But yeah, I think they're in a little bit of trouble. I mean, I know I think it was 2023 they got off to 0-2 start and they ended up winning the Super Bowl. I think it was that year, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I mean, they've been here before. That's the other thing. They got a lot of experience and they got a great coach. But I think it could be a little bit different this year with the injuries. So we'll see. The next one, guys, NFL question. Will the San Francisco 49ers make the playoffs? Chris, what do you think? The 49ers are 2-0 right now. Are they going to make the playoffs?
yeah, I think they make the playoffs. 49ers, I had them making playoffs at the beginning of the year. Of course, Purdy got hurt, but I think they'll be able to do enough until he gets back. They got a favorable schedule this year as well. They're not playing near a tough schedule this year as they did last year. And as the season goes on, hopefully they're going to get they'll get a little healthier at the receiver position as well. Yeah, as long as there ain't no big injury to like McCaffrey, I think 49ers are in the playoffs.
I think that's the key. I think you got it right there. I think McCaffrey's the big key for them. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this week is going to be the first test to see how legit they are with Mac Jones there until Purdy can get back. They got to go up against Arizona, and Arizona is also another team that has been playing really good. They have a pretty good defense over there. So I'm actually I'm actually picking Arizona to beat San Fran. So I don't know, man. I mean, Arizona's playing good right now. They're 2-0. Rams are 2-0. Seahawks are 1-1. I mean, that's a pretty good division right now in terms of the stand. But again, this is only 2 weeks in, so this is extremely, extremely premature. But right now, I think the Rams are going to get that division. It's just a matter of, does the Cardinals get the number 2 spot or does San Fran get that number 2 spot? And right now, I'm picking Arizona to get that number 2 spot, and actually San Fran to be at that 3. I know they have a favorable schedule, Gondo, and that's the one thing that's actually got my mind thinking if I really believe that or not, because they do have an easier schedule. And that schedule could make it.
Yeah, I think the 49ers are a better team than Arizona right now.
I just always look at when I look at San Fran, though, I always figure how much longer is it before McCaffrey goes down? His body can't handle that workload, Chris.
Yeah.
I know that's why
Brian
Brian Robinson.
I can say the same thing about Kyler Murray for Arizona.
Well, that's true. I mean, I'm not gonna debate that because we all know that that's true. I mean,
but if you
I'm
saying, if you watch the first 2 weeks, the 49ers have looked a little bit better than what Arizona has. I know Arizona's 2-0, but Arizona played a terrible second half last week and kind of got lucky to hold on to win that game. And then the week before they kind of struggled in the first half a little bit and then played a lot better in the second half. So Arizona hasn't put together a complete game yet.
No, not yet.
Right.
And the only reason I know that is because I've been watching it with my son, and he's a big Arizona Cardinals fan. So I watch quite a bit of Arizona as well because, like, week one we were all together watching football, and then this week we weren't together, but we were always talking on the phone about it. So I hear a lot about Arizona.
But that's why I feel like, that's why I started off with. I feel like this game is crucial because you do have Arizona and San Fran going at it. And Mac Jones is a competent quarterback in that system. I think we've seen that he can win with that team. So I feel like I'm not going to look at that as hampering them versus Brock Purdy not being there, right? What I look at when I look at Arizona is they have a great tight end in McBride. They got Harrison, they got Connor and Benson, which are two really good running backs that they have backing up. They have a good defense and good coaching. So I feel like this Arizona team is taking those next strides forward. Kyler Murray is the question mark there, so I'm gonna give you that one for sure. And that's why I really feel like, to answer your question, Gonzo, is I think this is the first indicator of who's going to take that number 2 spot. Is this game right here? How well that game plays out. If it's a close game, then it's a close game. But if it's a blowout, depending on who's getting blown out, that could clear up that could make some clarification right there.
Yeah, it's a San Fran also. That game is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris, what do you think? Or do you already go?
Yeah, I already went.
Okay. Yeah. It's tough because I've seen a lot of San Francisco and I've seen a lot of Arizona. Like I said, Arizona hasn't put a complete game together yet. They run the football real good, but I don't know if it's Murray's fault or if it's offensive line's fault. He gets sacked a lot. I don't know if he just hangs on to the ball too long because they do great as far as the running game goes. But Murray's been really inconsistent so far this year. Harrison had a good first game, was almost non-existent the second game. Yeah. And Harrison's a good receiver. I know he's a young receiver, but he's a good receiver. So I worry a little bit about that. Both teams got really good coaches. I favor San Francisco in the coaching, though, honestly. But I'm going to give the edge to San Francisco because they've been there more. They've been in that position more. So I'm going to give the slight edge to San Francisco as far as making the playoffs over Arizona. Maybe Arizona's the third. Maybe they can still get in, though. Okay, guys, my last 2 questions.
No, I just want to ask you guys one question before we leave out that topic, because this is something that's really been weighing on my mind a little bit. We've always known the Marvin Harrison, Peyton Manning connection and how beautiful it was to see that. Do you think that the bigger issue for me is the fact that Kyler Murray has not really gotten that connection or not developed that rapport or not developed that bond with Marvin Harrison Jr. to really promote him, because he has not really done anything for Marvin Harrison, since he's been in the league, really. He's been very quiet. And I wonder if Marvin, do you think that's number one? Do you think that's a concern? The fact that they don't have that chemistry? And then number 2, if you're Marvin Harrison and your contract comes up, are you looking to maybe move on to a team that could benefit your career better than what Kyler Murray?
Coach.
Hey, seriously, what would that look like? Could you imagine that if he went there and found the family lineage?
Yeah, I can imagine. Big time.
Chris would himself.
Yeah. No. For one, the big thing is I think you got real great talent with Harrison and both of them. The dad and the son. Marvin had Peyton Manning. Kyler Murray ain't no Peyton Manning. He's not near the quarterback.
Oh, yeah. I 100% agree.
And I'm not trying to downgrade him, but he's just not. I mean, let's just
No,
be
it's
honest.
okay to downgrade him because that dude would rather watch video games than put practice
No.
or work in the study book. So yeah, I think I would actually be an insult to Peyton to even compare them
No.
because that dude's not even on that same wavelength mentally as what Peyton was.
No. His son had the same exact yards as his dad did the first year. And I predicted that his son would have 1,200 yards this year. Well, they're going to have to get going if that's going to happen. And I worry that Murray's not going to get in the ball. So we'll see. Chris, what do you think about the connection between the two?
I think some of it was last year, his rookie year, you had Murray banged up some, so they didn't get as much. I think they'll be all right. But the offensive line has to do a better job of pass protecting, and Murray has to do a better job of getting the ball out on time. And then I think that'll help with that connection. But yeah, a lot of times it seems like Murray's on one read, and then if that read's not there, he's looking to run the ball, or run around and scramble, kind of like what you're seeing out of Caleb Williams right now, and that gets you off schedule. So I think when they start getting the ball out a little quicker, and then if the offensive line protects a little better, I think you'll start seeing that connection do a little better.
Okay, guys, down to the last two questions I got, and we'll get out of here. Your top three, as of right now, after 2 weeks, your top three teams in the NFC. I'll give you guys time to think about it. I'll go first because I already got mine down because I knew what the question was going to be, of course. I've got Green Bay as my number one because they are the defending champs, even though they're struggling a little bit offensively. I'm going to go with Philadelphia. And I got a tie for my number three. I got the Rams, and I still not giving up on Detroit after what they did. They slapped Chicago around, and I don't know what happened in the first game. They looked a lot more like Detroit that game than they did the first game. I think Detroit's going to be fine because I think they got that coach who will smack heads if they don't get straightened out. So I'm going to have Detroit tied with the Rams. So, Jay, how about you?
Yeah, I pretty much already gave mine, but I'll give them again. I'm right there with you. I think the Eagles, the Rams, and Green Bay. That's the three I'm rolling with right now. Okay. And I would put in Detroit would come at number 4 right now. It's just right now the other three just come out. I mean, they're steamrolling, and like you said, I'm not really worried about Philly right now. I think Philly's they're gonna get into that groove, but those would be my top three.
And Chris, what about you in the NFC?
I'll go with Rams, Green Bay, and Detroit.
Okay.
You said hell with Philly.
You're good.
Well,
no, the way I look at it is Detroit had a bad game, but Philly hasn't really played a complete great game yet. So.
Okay, and the last one, guys, is your top three in the NFC. I've got mine.
Or AFC?
Give me AFC.
AFC.
And they said I got Biden moments. I don't know what you're talking about.
I've got Buffalo, even though they're 1-1. Baltimore, and my number 3, San Diego, would be my 3 right now. How about you, Chris?
Bills, Chargers, and Colts.
Bills, Chargers, and Colts. Okay, Colts have looked very good.
The Colts.
Colts would probably be my 4 right now. I want to see how they look on the road. I know they're playing Tennessee, but Tennessee's defense has played pretty good, and it's a road game, so I want to see how the Colts look against Tennessee.
Yeah, I definitely think Buffalo is going to be there. Chargers, I definitely believe, as long as they stay out of injuries. If they stay healthy, then I'm going with Chargers. I'm going with Buffalo. And then the third one gets kind of interesting because I do like the way Indy is playing right now. They're playing, especially Tyler Warren, like y'all mentioned earlier. So I probably will go with Indy. I think Houston there's something going on in Houston that I'm not 100% on board with. I don't know if it's that offensive coordinator or what, but there's just something's not sitting right with Houston with me right now. They've had 2 hard teams. I mean, they played Tampa, They played the Rams, and both games were close. So that's why I'm on the fence with Houston. I feel like, but so no, I'm going to go with those. I am going to lean the Colts right now, but just because of what the Colts are playing. And Danny Dimes is looking pretty good.
Well, I think we'll find out a lot about Houston this week. They play Jacksonville. That's a conference game, and they play them. They play them at Jacksonville.
And that really is it, right? That's what it is for me with the Colts. What it is for me, the Colts is, they played Miami, they played Denver. Miami, Denver is a moderately good team. So I want to see the Colts when they go up against a team like the Rams, or when they go up against Detroit, or when they go up against, a tough team. I want to see how Danny Dimes reacts to that, and then I can get a more solid feeling.
I was pretty happy because Denver was such a good defense, and the Colts handled that defense really well.
Yeah.
So that was a good sign for me. So they played that well against them. I'm going to be straight up honest. I did not expect them to play. I'm not saying I didn't think they had a chance to win. I did. I didn't expect the offense to look that good against Denver's defense. I really didn't. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I was really happy that their offense looked that good. And I still think the defense had played pretty good, but they got to do a little bit better, not giving up big plays.
Especially in the first half. The first half of that game, we came up a couple big plays in that first half. Because if you look at the thing, they only scored 8 points in the 7 points. 7 points in the second half. Our defense played a hell of a lot better in that second half than we did. What the hell's going on?
I don't know what that was.
Craziness, man. I thought I silenced my phone, but I guess I didn't. My apologies. The only thing I want to see from Danny Dimes, to really have 100% faith in him, is I want to see him when he's under pressure. I want to see an Eagles team that has really good pressuring defense, or Chargers who have a really good pressuring defense. When I see him go up against a pressure defense and how he handles that, and how that team as a whole handles it.
Well, Denver's noted to be a pretty good pressure.
Denver blitzed them almost 80% of the time.
We handled it there. Now, but see, that's one thing, that's one thing he never really had with the Giants. They did okay with the run, with the offensive line, but the offensive line never protected Jones, and he just got a better cast around him than he's ever had. And now we're saying that, of course, he can go shit the bed next week. You don't know, but because he has shit the bed before, and you got to put some of that on him. You can't just put it all on the team. But I do think he's in a better situation, the best situation he's ever been in right now. And he seems real happy. He seems real confident. The team's behind him. I think he's going to do well. Does that mean we're going to make the playoffs? Does that mean we're going to make a playoff run? I don't know. I hope. But, it's just got to take it a game at a time and see. But right now, pretty positive.
You definitely have a lot more encouragement now than when you were dealing with Anthony Richardson or the quarterback thing in training camp where you weren't sure who was going to get it. Yeah. But now you have you're starting to see a little bit of what the identity of your football team is. And I mean, honestly, that would make me feel a lot easier knowing the situation you're in now and that Danny Dimes can deliver, And so,
I was, let me see. If I'm going to rate it with Jones, because I thought Jones would be the quarterback. I really did. When they said that he was coming in, I thought he'd be the quarterback. Right. I was probably saying I was 65% that we was going to be good, decent. Right now, I'm probably 80%. A little cautious. I'm not going to be like some people who's 100%, man. Here we go. We're back. No, not quite that. not too soon. Too soon. But we're definitely moving in the right direction. That's what we haven't done for the last couple of years.
Another thing that I liked about Sunday was we were missing one of our best corners in Ward. We had a couple of our better defensive players out, and our defense still performed pretty well. So that was an encouraging sign.
I would like to get to the quarterback more. I would like to put a little more pressure on the quarterback, but I mean, our defensive backs are pretty good, and they spent money in that area, so they should be better. So, Bynum's been outstanding. Things are looking good.
Next year, when Hendrickson comes up for contract again, I mean, I don't know why Indianapolis would throw their hat in the ring and bring him in on a 1 year or 2 year deal just to help your pass rush out.
No, I think they'll try because Indianapolis was in the talks to try to trade for him this year.
Yeah. You just get him in as a 1 or 2 year rental and see what that does for your defense. While you're trying to make that push.
Chris, let me ask you this. He's only quarterback, Jones, is only under, if I remember right, only under a 1-year contract. Let's see, he has a good year. We win 11, 12, 13 games, make the playoffs, whatever. What would you offer him in your mind? How many years? Because I don't know how old he is. I really don't.
He's 27 years. He's 27 years old. He's
still
young.
pretty young. 27 years old. How much would you offer him? I mean, I don't think we want to get in the deal where we're breaking the bank with him.
He'd probably get kind of like what like a Baker Mayfield got, not this past offer, but his first offer with Tampa, where he got like a couple of years for like 25, 30 million, like 25 million a year or something, like 25, 30 million a year, something like that.
Would you do like a 3-year deal with him for 25, 30 million a year?
Oh yeah. If he keeps playing like
It's still
if the season goes well, yeah.
And
Like I said, he's only 27. Like if it works out, I mean, you could have maybe found your guy for the next
5,
10
6 years. Yes. I got one other question to add on that, and then Jay, you can respond. Do you keep Anthony Richardson, or do you let him go? If you re-sign Jones, do you get rid of Richardson? And you're not going to get a lot out of him, but then they're going to experience backup in, or do you keep Richardson because he's young? I mean, you do have that option to keep him.
I'd probably move on from Richardson and get another and get a experienced backup, just because that way you don't have all the hoopla around. They have Richardson as their backup. They used the number 4 pick on, but they wasted a pick. You know what I mean? You're just going to keep that in the building. So yeah, I would say if you decided to sign Jones, I would probably go ahead and move on from Richardson.
Jay, I'm going to let you respond, but I'm going to go because I'm getting a phone call, and I figure it may be something important. So I'm going to go ahead and get out, and you guys can end the show. Thank you.
All right, no worries. Yep. Yeah, I was kind of thinking somewhere along the lines of like 4-year, $40 million. I feel like that's what he's going to want. If that all goes depending on how he does this year. If he has just a breakout crazy year and you guys make it to the playoffs or something like that, I would almost think that his agent's going to want to get somewhere in that 40 million range to be competitive with all the other contracts that have been given out. I don't think he's a 70 million guy or 80 million or 60 million, but I think 40 million at 4 years, that puts you at about 160 million, 4 years, 160 million. Maybe you give him 100 million guaranteed. That might get the job done for you guys. What do you think, Gonzo? Or is that too aggressive?
It just depends on how. It's hard to say until you see how the season goes. You know what I mean?
No, but I'm saying, but if he balls out though, and you guys make it to the playoffs, you got to imagine that's probably what he's going to be looking, or his agent's going to be looking for.
Yeah, maybe. I think we might. I think we'll be able to get him for a little under 40, but we'll see. Like I said, just a lot depends on how big of a year he has and what all happens as well.
I mean, even if you get him at a 4-year, 40 million, that's still a steal. If he, pans out to be that guy, that would be a huge steal cap wise for you guys. To have 4 years at 40,
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I definitely think I have a different vision of the Colts now than I did back when y'all were in training camp. Because I just didn't know and I don't know if anybody really knew what to expect from Jones or this team coming out of it. But y'all really, I got to admit, man, you guys are looking pretty good, And then when you guys go up against the tougher competition, it's going to be interesting to see how y'all fare through that. I don't know, who do y'all play next week, or this week? Actually, I should say.
We got the Titans this week. Division game.
So that should be that shouldn't be nothing difficult for you guys.
Other than
defense, don't they?
We should play good, but I mean we should win, but it won't be easy just because it's a division game.
Yeah, yeah, they're going to gear up. Cam Ward will definitely be geared up for that.
But,
so that's game.
No, we got the Titans this week, and then we play the Rams next week.
Man, talk about a test. That's gonna be a crazy test for you guys. Oh, man. Going from, and it seems like that's a natural progression, right? So you played Miami, then you played a little bit better team in Denver, and then you played an exceptionally good team in the Rams. And if you come away with that, you got to imagine if the Colts come away with the victory against the Rams, that the confidence level and the swag level is going to go through the roof in that Colts locker room.
Yeah, we just gotta keep playing like we have been. If we play like we have the first 2 weeks, we'll be in a lot of ball games. We just got to keep doing what offensive line has to keep protecting, and defense keep making some plays. I like our turnovers. We're getting some turnovers, so that's always a good thing. We've had I think three or four interceptions already this season.
Yeah. And that's going to be the ticket, I think, for next when we do this show or when we talk about next week in the Rams game. It's going to be that's going to be a good show because I really feel like, especially the recap after that, should be amazing. So yes, next week's going to be an amazing time for football. What do you got? Anything else that you want to talk about? I've kind of exhausted all of my topics.
No, I think we'll go ahead and get out of here for today and be back tomorrow.
All right, man. Hey,
hopefully the Reds play better tonight.
Hopefully the Astros get a win too. We both need wins. You really need to get some wins. I think you're 3 games out right now from the Mets.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm gonna probably go work for a little bit and then come back home, watch a little baseball.
All right, man. Make sure you're hitting that like and subscribe on Gonzo's Sports Room on his YouTube page, as well as ESPN's YouTube page. We always appreciate the subscribes on our YouTubes. Until next week, it's your boy Jay McLovin and my boy Gonzo and Tony, man, saying see ya.